Imagine a world without Netflix, TikTok, or even the concept of a weekend. It's 1518, and the people of Strasbourg are just looking for a good time. The city is bustling, the markets are alive with chatter, and the air is thick with anticipation. Then out of nowhere, a woman named Frau Trophäa starts dancing. Not the kind of dancing you'd expect at a royal feast or a tavern celebration, but a strange, unending jig that seems to have no rhythm or reason. The cobblestone streets become her stage, her body twisting and turning with a fervor that seems almost supernatural. Curious onlookers gather, their eyebrows furrowed in confusion and amusement. Some clap along, others laugh, but no one quite understands what's happening. Is Frau Trophäa celebrating something? Is this a new kind of entertainment? At first, people thought she was just having a really good day, or perhaps she'd invented a new kind of solo flash mob. But then, things got weirder. As Frau Trophäa's solo dance party continued, an unexpected trend began to emerge. More and more people were drawn into this rhythmless rave, their bodies moving in an uncontrollable frenzy, as if caught in a strange, invisible current. The townsfolk watched in a mix of fascination and horror as the number of dancers swelled. A sense of unease rippled through the town. Was this a new form of entertainment, or was something sinister at play? As the dancing epidemic spread, the authorities watched in bewilderment. Their initial amusement quickly turned to concern as they realized this was no ordinary dance-off. They tried to intervene, hoping to restore order, but to no avail. Their attempts to stop the dancing were as ineffective as trying to halt the tide. The rhythmic chaos continued, unabated. The streets of Strasbourg turned into a 16th-century version of a dance marathon reality show, minus the glittery costumes and celebrity judges. The authorities, baffled by this boogie fever, tried everything. They scratched their heads, they wrung their hands, and they paced the cobblestone streets. In their bewilderment, they looked to the only logical solution they could think of. They decided to fight fire with fire, or in this case, dance with dance. They called upon the finest musicians in Strasbourg, the virtuosos of the viol, the maestros of the mandolin, the champions of the crumhorn. The city squares echoed with the sound of lutes and lyres, drums and dulcimers. The idea was to tire the dancers out, to feed the frenzy until it consumed itself. Ironically, the authorities thought they could use the very thing that seemed to have caused the problem to solve it. But as the music played on, the dancing only intensified. They even brought in musicians, because obviously, when people can't stop dancing, the solution is to provide them with a live soundtrack, right? Spoiler, it didn't help. As the dancing intensified, so did the exhaustion. The streets of Strasbourg were awash with people, swaying, stomping, spinning, all caught up in a rhythm that existed only in their minds. It was no longer a dance, it was a desperate struggle, a battle against an invisible foe that refused to let them rest. The once jubilant atmosphere had turned grim, as the toll of the relentless dancing became all too apparent. The authorities, once baffled spectators, now found themselves forced into action. They had to find a way to stop this madness, to bring peace back to their city. They tried everything, from music to medicine, from pleas to prayer, but nothing seemed to work. In their desperation, they turned to an unconventional solution. They decided to take the dancers away from the city, to the solitude of a nearby mountain. Here, under the open sky, they hoped that prayer and divine intervention might finally bring an end to the dancing. Finally, the authorities shifted gears from dance facilitators to medieval dance therapists, whisking people off to a mountain to pray for divine intervention. Fast forward to modern times, and scientists are still scratching their heads. Was it a case of ergot poisoning, a fungus that grows on rye and wheat, causing hallucinations and convulsions? Or could it have been mass hysteria, a collective swing of psychological pendulum triggered by high levels of stress and anxiety? Perhaps it was a religious cult, performing a ritualistic dance to ward off the grim specter of disease and famine. Or maybe, just maybe, the good folks of Strasbourg were simply the pioneers of the flash mob, their feverish jigs a medieval precursor to the viral dances we see today. But no matter the cause, one thing's for certain. The dancing plague of 1518 was a dance marathon like no other, a tale of rhythm, mystery, and some seriously sore feet. So there you have it, the dancing plague of 1518. If you enjoyed this historical dance-off, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable stories from the past.